Going, guys. Wanted to hop on today and do a quick video about some of the larger size folders that I carry close to an everyday basis. I've got two that I carry for work decent amount of time, at least 2 or 3 times a week. The rest of them are outside of work carry. I'm going to be using my bug out as a size reference to them. I'm sure everybody knows pretty much the size of a bug out. Good average size everyday carry. This is just plain old bug out with some brass scales on it. Come from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Put a little leather lanyard on it with a couple of nuts out of the garage. But I'm gonna start out with my cold steel Recon 1. I bought this knife when I was probably, I don't know, 18, 19, 20 years old. And so I've had it for a good while. I carried it every day for about 6 or 7 years, I'd say. And that was, outside of work use, everyday work use. And I've always worked in the trades. So it's seen its better days. It's been beat and banged. But still to this day, not a single issue with the knife. I've never had it mess up, never had it, the lock jam on me or nothing. And this is one of the older models too. It was the Ultra Lock that Cold Steel had, kind of like the Axis Lock for Benchmade, or the Clutch Lock now that the Axis Lock patent is up. But I love this knife, and I trust my life with it. It's gotten me out of a lot of binds. It's always been good. I paid probably $20 for the thing when I got it. I bought it from a friend's older brother that had just gotten out of the military. I don't know where he got it at, but he was getting rid of it. Sold it to me for $20, and I mean, it's been a very, very good $20 spent. And so yeah, I'm definitely keeping that one around. It caused me to become a large fan of Cold Steel. I mean, Cold Steel has some ridiculous knives, but you can't beat them. I just ordered a 4 Max Scout today, and that'll be the first one of those I've had. So that'll be here Tuesday. I'm probably going to do a video on it whenever I get it in. Next up, Artisan Cutlery Proponent. It's a large knife. I mean, length-wise, it's not nothing too crazy, but that blade is just nuts. It's a heavy knife too. Got a lot of weight to it. Real thick spine. And I would say that, honestly, this would probably be good for batoning and some type of bushcraft stuff. Blade length, I don't think would be greatest for it. You don't have a whole lot to work with, as cutting up firewood and whatnot. But it does come with a little threaded lock bar that slides through right there, and it goes all the way through the blade and through both sides of the scales, to kind of turn it into a fixed blade, just to beef up the lock, because it is just a liner lock. I've got the bar still, and I don't know if it's just mine or it's a common problem with them. I'm not sure, but mine does not thread. You can start the thread and it'll get about 2 threads in and then quit. And it does have 2 ways of opening. You got the thumb stud, which I prefer using, and it does have the flipper tab. I don't mind using it, but you most of the time have to have it laid over on the back side of the knife and push open on it to get it to actually open up. Unless you got crazy strong hands, you're not going to be able to open it like that. You turn it this way, it'll open. But I prefer using the thumb stud on it. One downside about this knife is I'm left-handed, so I carry my knives left-handed. This one does have a reversible pocket clip. You can change it over, but I've watched some videos of it being done, and it does not look that fun. So I've yet to even attempt it. But the only downside to carrying it left-handed is sometimes, like, I keep my wallet and I'll throw my keys in my left pocket also. And every now and then, say I reach in for my wallet or something, if I bump it, it will come open a little bit. And there has been times that I've reached down in my pocket and it's been, almost completely unfolded. And it's gotten me a time or two, and it does not feel good because it is a sharp knife. But I think I paid 50 or 60 bucks for this thing, and I bought it just because it's ridiculous. It's one of those knives you just have an impulse buy over and you feel like you've got to have it. I don't regret buying it though. I really enjoy it. Got good drop shot action. Next up, Kizer Sheepdog XL, micarta handles, and I traded a Benchmade Claymore for this thing, and I don't remember. The guy gave me some money on his end also, but I bought that Claymore because I figured I'd like it. It was my first auto knife. Absolutely hated it. I like Benchmades for the most part. My bug out, I love it, but the Claymore, I didn't care for that knife at all. And I was at a gun show, and one of my buddies was there. He runs a table at those shows, and he sells quite a bit of knives. He had this setting out, and I'd always watch videos on the sheepdogs, and I always wanted to get one, but I don't really like buying things online. Not a big fan of it. So I just kind of always put it off to the side. And I had that Claymore on me that day. I always show up to gun shows with a bag full of knives, just looking to trade and sell and whatever. And I walked over, asked him, what he wanted to trade for it. And he was like, well, let me see what you got. So I handed him that Claymore because I was looking to get rid of it. And he traded me this and gave me some cash on his end. But I don't have anything bad to say about this knife, really. It's a good one. It is a user. But the one thing I do dislike about it is, like say, I'm left-handed, and it does not have a reversible pocket clip. But aside from that, I can't say anything bad. It's not like that Proponent. I've never had an issue with it coming open in my pocket. And I would say that's due to, honestly, I mean, if you look at them both, the Sheepdog kind of has this little divot taken out as to where that's a solid corner. I would say it's obviously nothing's catching on that like it would the corner of this blade. But I really enjoy this knife. It's surprisingly light for what it is. Another thing that I do not like, and it could just be this knife, I'll put it up to the camera, but it's almost got like a little, I don't know, grinding noise when it pivots open. But nothing really changes my mind on it. It's still a very good knife. I still like carrying it. Next, this is a Kershaw Natrix XL in with the copper scales. I bought this knife back over the winter also. Same time I bought this Proponent. My fiance actually got me this one. But it's a very good knife. It is a Chinese made Kershaw, but you would never know it. I mean, the knife has good weight. It's sharp. I've used it for a work knife for quite a while. Never had any issues out of it. And this one, it does have a reversible pocket clip, but for left-handed carry, the show side would be covered by the clip, and then you'd have the frame lock just exposed. And I don't care too much for that look. Not a huge fan of frame lock knives, but something about this one, I love the copper on it. But I don't know, it's been good to me. And I got a thing for copper and brass, like say, I hadn't even been comparing these, but we'll run back and do that real quick. I mean, there it is compared to the bug out. Good size knife. And I don't know, it's good for a lot of tasks. I really like how that blade's kind of got that belly to it. Different blade shape for sure, but I enjoy the knife. I'll run back through and do some comparisons real quick with these. There's the bug out and the sheepdog. Hard to get that in the frame. But yeah, real big. I think out of the ones I've shown so far, this may be the biggest one on the table. Here's the bug out with the Proponent. Not a huge difference, but I mean, blade length wise, you got quite a bit on it. Blade width wise also. And then with the Recon 1, this knife isn't very wide, it's just a long knife. But either way, still a large knife. And next one is probably the smallest out of the large folders that I own, but the Espada XL. I don't even call this thing a knife, it's a pocket sword. I'll go ahead and do the comparison with the bug out, get that out of the way. I don't even know how to line it up. The actual blade, if you go from the pivot, the blade is actually longer than this entire bug out itself. But this knife, I hated them for the longest time. I always seen people posting about them and whatnot. I'm like, no way you can carry a sword in your pocket. And I thought they were ugly as sin. They're still not a great looking knife by any means, but they had them on sale through Blade HQ. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna suck it up, buy one, see what the hype's all about. And now I love it. And I surprisingly carry it quite a bit for what it is. Not really a, hey, I gotta, you know, can you cut the tag off my shirt? I'm not gonna whip this thing out, you know, that's insane. And you really don't even take it out of your pocket when you have it. But it's, you know, just the simple fact of you're walking around and you're like, I got a freaking sword on me. I have large hands, and I mean, you can literally hold this entire handle with both hands, and I still have room on it. The way they've got these finger grooves cut out, it works perfect. You get a good grip on it, and I mean, if you truly had to use this in a self-defense scenario, I wouldn't second guess it. I mean, this knife right here has taught me that cold steel's quality is insane, and this is obviously not a user knife. I mean, you would literally keep this just for self-defense. And another thing I have noticed, if you are holding it with both hands, that's a great grip to have. But I know Lynn Thompson in some videos, he shows holding it like this, and obviously I wouldn't argue with Lynn Thompson. The dude knows what he's talking about. But personally, if I was to do a one-handed grip down at the bottom, I would keep my index above this little choil here. I don't know, it just seems like a more secure grip on it. But like I say, that is my second cold steel that I've bought, and I have that 4 Max Scout on the way in. Should be here on Tuesday. So when I get that in, I'm probably going to do an unboxing and a little review of it, and I'll probably carry it at work for, I don't know, a month or so, just to see how it turns out. But thank you guys for checking this out. I appreciate it. Subscribe, and I'm going to try to do some giveaways in the future once I can get the subscribers up. I've only got about 5 right now, so there's not much I can really do. But I appreciate it, appreciate the support, and hope you guys have a good one.